I did it. I wrote a novel in 31 days with no prior writing experience. Okay, I wrote a rough draft to a novel in 31 days, but still, I want to talk about how you can do the exact same thing. There are so many positives to trying writing. To be able to be part of the creative process is incredibly empowering. There's something about writing a chapter or a section or a paragraph and looking back on it and being like, dang, I kind of killed that. And that's not to say I'm a good writer. I am not. But the process of putting pen to paper and finishing something is empowering. Another thing, since starting writing, I started noticing a ton of different things when I was reading. How do the greats write dialogue? How do they use hyphens? How do they write flashbacks? It just adds this extra layer of enjoyment when you're reading something. Lastly, if you write something with some social commentary, it can be really enjoyable as a way to process and learn about whatever you choose to write on. I am no expert, but here's what I did to do this in 31 days. First, I decided what message or central theme I wanted to portray. Next, I came up with a start and an end to the main plot. Then I came up with 4 subplots, a start and an end to each of these, and then 3 things that could happen for each of those 4 subplots. Then I took the 20 or so events that I had and I organized them into an outline. So I basically had 20 sections, each moving the story forward. Then I wrote a thesis sentence for each section, as well as like 3 sub-points for each of the sections. Then I wrote out a list of new characters and SF concepts that I made up and wrote a few bullet points to describe each of them. Now that I had my detailed outline, I just went section by section and wrote a book. While I wrote, I tried to keep a list of things that I wanted to change in a later draft, but I avoided going back and changing anything while I was still writing. Every single person, and I really mean that, every single person watching this video has a meaningful book inside of them. Everyone has been through an experience or has some idea of a plot that would be worthwhile to share. I am nobody. I never studied writing. I never had a super critical eye when I was reading, but I thought that it would be fun to write a book, so I did. And guess what? You can do that too. And you know what? You could do a better job than I did. Check out my video where I go more in depth on this, as well as book reviews on my YouTube channel.